Hey traders, this is MacDaddyTrader coming at you with a video today. We're going to be going over my MacDaddy trend trading strategy. Don't have an official name for it yet, but pretty much what we're working with here is a MACD indicator, uh, basically stacked histogram, uh, slow moving average, fast moving average. I have it all basically logicked out with markers. I also have it logicked out with Algo Studio Pro. It's a backtesting software made by Trade Devils Indicators. I really like it for its utility and attention to detail, as well as its optimization process. What this is showing is some momentum with the trend. I made sure that at one point prior to this, within 6 bars, the slow moving average was still in the same direction as it is currently when the entries hit. So, like you'll see in some of these, you don't get that because it wasn't clear 6 bars ago that it was still within that trend. The trend kind of ended and then it came back. So this is what we're working with here. This is like one of those prime examples, um, and there's a few other here, and we'll just get working on that now. With this backtesting software, this is how we can really zone in on what we're trying to do, how we're trying to do it, and um, this is what we're going to do. So first, you put in all your parameters. You just hit condition, and then you click on the actual condition itself, and then you go ahead and change whatever you need to. All right. And what's cool about this is you can do one shot or continuous. So you could do high frequency tests. You could do extensions. You could group things together. You can add or subtract conditions, anything like that. The designer really doesn't do much at this time. It just kind of maps out everything visually. But what you're probably looking for, excuse me, is the meat and potatoes of this logic. And what's cool is you can deselect and reselect. You can also select one of these and say, hey, I want the longs and the shorts to sync up, or hey, I want to do longs only or shorts only. And then you can identify, is it less than, greater than, not equal to. You can have a formula in here if you're like trying to figure out distance between wicks or anything like that. You could do all kinds of stuff. Highest, lowest. Right. So after that, let's go ahead and get into our ATM. Also, right before that, don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button too, so that way you can see any of my new videos and any type of stuff I test and show you guys. And hit that notification bell so you can be one of the first to see it. But what we're going to do is you can go up here and you can click on statistics, and it automatically gives you all the statistics for what particular setup you have currently. So right now, that's what I have up. I've been messing with this quite a bit, so trying to tinker a little but not over curve anything. That's the key. Use small sample sizes and just kind of work your way towards a good out of sample test. And then what's cool is you can have an equity curve. Now this just looks crazy good, right? Well, it's not going to look that way once I start messing with it. But um, right now we got positive equity, and this is off 124 trades, probably the last 3 days. And so what we can do is we can go to our ATM, and right now I just have very broad ATM 50-50. Uh, I think I have 2 ticks of slippage, 1 tick of commissions, so that's 3 ticks disadvantage, and we're at a 50-50 split with a 57% ish win rate. Obviously, it's only 124 trades, so you're not getting a 95% certainty on that, with a plus or minus 5% certainty anyway. You can also, what's cool is you can select what time period you're trading in. So today I actually was only trading in this particular area. So that was a no-no. Here, I'll even show you. Let's say I want to do none, and then I only click on this 830 section, which is 930. Yep, that's pretty much what it was. Just trash all the way down. And I didn't even trade this setup, but the volatility was insane. Actually, let me hit regular trading hours. You can adjust everything you need to there, and then I just take that out. So that way I'm not trading the first 30 minutes of the open. But what's cool about this area is you can optimize your settings exactly the way you want to. Now, I use expected value because I'm aware that if I try to up a win rate, it's going to artificially come up with like the best win rate possible based on my optimization settings. And also, a key thing with optimization settings is you kind of already want to have an idea for what you're trying to optimize. So you don't want to put like stop loss of 1 and a max of like 99 or 200, and then, step of 1 or step of 3, because it's going to optimize really hard on the data that you're already looking at. Let's do that. Let's say I want a win rate. I want to optimize for win rate, and I want my win rate to be, let's see, minimum win rate. Let's say I want an 80 minimum win rate, and everything else looks pretty good. I could even up this to, let's say, 300. Okay, and optimize settings, and this is if I'm being really lazy with it. Let's say a minimum of 5, a maximum of 120. We can leave that the same. Stop loss. Let's do, I don't know. Let's do something crazy. Let's say 8. And max stop loss, 300. That's about 60. And let's do 1. So right now we already got a ton of leeway for this thing to look through. I don't want to touch this. This is pretty tuned to what I'm looking for on the 18-3 King Renko bar, which you can find at ninsco.com, link in the description below, which are backtestable Ninzaco bars, by the way, that are usable on this backtester as well. All right, so this is what I have for my settings, and it's going to trash everything I've worked on, but that's what we're here for. We're here for the experience. All right, so we're going to smash. You know what? Let's even get a hyperinflated profit factor. Let's go for no less than 1.75. All right, so we're looking for greatness. All right, now as you can see here, this is your in sample test, and this is your out of sample test. So this is kind of what you want to look for. You want this to be a up from bottom left to top right. That's what you want to see. Basically, with what we have here, it's not going to, most likely will not produce anything that has the out of sample test to be remotely similar to the in sample test. And that's the key factor here, is this purple line. If we can have it match the green to a certain extent, then that's what we're looking for. Now, as you can see, it really tried. Here, let's open this up a little. Nothing came from that. And so you either get really hyperinflated things or not at all. So now let's do it the right way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have realistic stop losses. So let's go ahead and say a minimum of 30, a maximum of 50, And let's do steps of 3. Let's do a trailing stop, and it will not necessarily select a trailing stop if it does not require one. So you can just have it selected, but it'll find the best ones regardless of if it uses a trailing stop or a stop, no stop at all. And you can always have selected use a stop. So that's just the cool thing about it. Trailing stop. Let's do 18. And let's do 3. All right. What could be an improvement, opportunity for improvement, is multiple trailing stop points. So once it hits a certain price point, it jumps to the next type of trailing stop for optimized trail. I guess multiple triggers, I would say. Gives you opportunities here. Trailing stop loss, let's do or trailing stop trigger. Let's do a minimum of 6 and maximum of, let's do 36. Okay, and let's do 3. And break even, again, not necessary, but we're going to try it. Sure, let's try 6. Let's narrow this down some. Let's do 30. 3. Now, what we're trying to target, let's target somewhere in the realm of 24 to 54. And let's use 3 steps. Okay. Everything looks good. Now, let's go ahead and adjust. I have this already pre-adjusted, so basically 50% of my trades are out of sample and 50 are in sample. And then minimum profit factor, let's get realistic here and say a 1.2. Minimum win rate. For something like this, let's just say 0.4. Well, I guess it's asking in percent, so 40%. Minimum expected value, don't really have a specific preference for that. Max drawdown, I would like to not have that much. Let's do 850. And max loss, I would not like to have that much either, but we did request to have at most a 50 tick stop loss. So, oh shoot. Let's see if it saved what we were trying to do. Don't think it did. Hey, there it is. Alright, let's see. This is good practice to see. Optimize. Hey, it did save our work. Awesome. So that's a new update. It used to be where if you accidentally click this, it never saved. So there's another point feature. Alright, I want to change this back to expected value. I do like K ratio, but K ratio is kind of hard when you do not, or when you're using break evens and trailings and things like that. We can maybe go back to that on a different setup, but for now, let's use expected value, because that kind of falls in line with your risk reward and win rate triangle. Your expected value comes out of that. Optimize ATM, yes. Always use stop loss, yes. We're not optimizing indicators. We're not optimizing the trading hours because we already have those set. Optimize close at end of session. Don't need that because I already have my hours optimized. So I think we're good. All right, let's go ahead and hit start. Right off the bat, we already have a nice equity curve. This is what we want to see as far as trend progression of equity. Just nice. I could stick a line from here to here and it would be pretty spot on, but we're going to see how well this works out long term. It's going through the iterations fast. So this bottom bar pretty much says, hey, it just did one. And then this top bar shows its completion for all the iterations listed. You don't want to do too many generations because then it's just going to over optimize. And I think this iteration, it found a nice one. Let's see. Started out with something like that, which looked horrendous. And just based on looking at the structure of this equity curve, there was a lot of break evens in this one. But this one right here, this is very similar to what I had previously. It looks a lot better though, to be honest. Let's go ahead and save that for now. That way we don't lose it. And let's take a look over here. So we got a net profit. That's a huge net profit. 54% win rate, profit factor of 130. And if you remember, in our win rate increments, 130 is right in the middle of this gradient. This is what we want. So anything over here, you risk over optimizing. Anything over here, you risk just losing a ton of money over time. So right here, this is what we want. This is what we're looking for. And that's what we hit. So total trades 135, total days traded 3, 45, average R 0.17. Okay, so that's nice. Expected value 25.89. All right, expectation, Sharp ratio 3.22. Now that could be considered a little over optimized, but there's a way to check this. Winner 73, loser 62, average win, average loss, max drawdown. Okay. Max win streak 6 trades, max loss, losing streak 5 trades, and that checks out because if you remember, our max winning and max losing streaks are right here. So if we're going around 15, or I'm sorry, around 50%, you're looking at an even split between the two. So this is after 10,000 trades. Your max could be potentially 13 of these losers all at once. But that's worst case scenario. At the same time, you could have a max win streak of 13. So we're pretty much average as far as what we're trying to do now. So that's hopeful. And let's see, what else do we have? Average daily profit 1,165. I would not take that to the bank. That looks super inflated. But average maximum adverse excursion $122. Average favorable excursion $144. Now what we can do is we can actually, let's go ahead and save this again. We can look back at what our ATM turned out to be. And oh look, they optimized it plain and simple with just a 42 tick target with a 36 stop loss. And that's amazing. An amazing finding is that, I started out with 50 on my first day of trading this, or messing around with it, really compiling it. And then I went down to like 27 to try and, cut some edge out. And lo and behold, over here, 36 is the current magic number, but we'll do some alterations to the dates to see if different days just totally mess this up. So we're going to go the previous week And let's do 5 days. So we'll get a whole week of trading data. Let's see what that does. Boom. Also, the speed at which this processes is brought to you by a Ninja Mobile Trader. It's a VPS, a virtual private server, that allows me to pretty much host this on a virtual desktop, so that way I can have fast executions, get as optimal of entries as I can as a retail trader. So that's Ninja Mobile Trader virtual private servers. You can find the link in the description below, and if you use my code, you get a nice discount off of that. So we are ready to see how this fared last week. Now, if you already look at it, it's red all over, and that's why we can't just go off of what we have. So 42 and 36, that was not the move for that week. That was not the move at all. So that's what you got to deal with, is you got to pretty much say, hey, this failed miserably. It went down a significant percentage, and what's cool is you can see where it went down using these reports. So 2 o'clock, something happened last week. It just wrecked everything. There's no consistency there. You can do day of the month, you can do day of the week, and so Wednesday was terrible. And you can just kind of get a feel for it. Now, this is going to be a constant problem if all you're doing is just, putting indicators together and hoping that you get the right ATM strategy. And this is just, a nice software to see your results of what you're trying to do. I've learned a lot from it. For instance, this Monte Carlo system right here, it basically can show you, you can even do 10,000 simulations if you wanted to. And you can have a starting capital of prop firm account. You could add a slippage of 1. And then, sure, let's do 5% randomness. So this shows how robust your current strategy is with the time frame allotted on the backtest. So remember, this is not an indication of how it's going to perform in the future. That's what out-of-sample tests are for, okay? And even then, you need to do a couple out-of-sample tests, and then you need to do your real test, your real-time test in a sim account. So just don't take the first green blob you see and just start running it up with evals. So let's go ahead and hit run. Yep, see? So you got the downward cigar. And the white line shows what the actual trades were. But this pretty much shows that your equity curve over time is going to be a downward slope. So you're going to go to 0 and negative eventually. That just goes to show, something awesome may not look awesome. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me so that way you can watch any of my future videos, and go ahead and hit that notification bell so you can be one of the first people to watch the next video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. The description has all these indicators and more, as well as my discount codes and link to my Discord, so that way you can optimize or backtest, or a combination of both. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.